The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Major funding for Triad Today comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, making healthcare better for all. Understanding stroke on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the Kernersville Auto Museum. We'll tell you more about the museum later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up. We'll get into also controversial topics with those guys later, so stay tuned. Lots of good information coming your way. Where we want to start though is some very special guests, two of my favorite guys, of course David Daggett, Griff Schuler from the great law firm of Daggett Schuler, and they brought a special guest with them, Alexia Mitchell's Director of Teen Impact at the YMCA of Northwest North Carolina. She's also a licensed clinical therapist. Good to see all of you.
Hey, Jim.
Good to see you, Jim. Thank you.
David, let me start with you. Let's talk about Safe Sober Teen Center. We haven't talked about that in a long time. What is it? Where is it? And how did it come about?
So the Safe Sober Teen Center is an extension of our Safe Sober program, which is now in its 36th year. And the executive director of the William G. White YMCA, Richard Daniels, and I have been friends for a long time. And Richard says, we got to do something for kids. We got to do something for kids. Little did I know he was reeling us in.
Yeah.
and we decided that teens needed a dedicated, safe space where they could go after school, get encouragement and support from professionals, colleagues, and their friends. And the Safe Sober Teen Center does just that.
Yeah.
And now this is Mental Health Month, and Alexia knows the mental health issues our young people are going through, and the Safe Sober Teen Center is a magic cure for a lot of that, and it's a support system.
Yeah, Alexia, give me an example of an activity maybe that you guys are doing with the teens.
So at the Teen Center, we have our barbershop talks, which is mentored by WSSU. The guys come in and they're able to talk just about emotional intelligence and things to give them encouragement, but they also get a free haircut while they're there by the Winston-Salem Barber School.
Wow.
Also, yeah,
That's
and
neat.
also the girls, they have girl talk. And it's an empowering experience for the girls to come and be empowered and mentored by mentors from WSSU.
I think that's great. Speaking of mentors, Griff, you and David and your team have been at this kind of thing for a long time. How are you guys specifically involved with this teen center?
I think a lot of it for the firm are these mentorship opportunities. The barbershop talk is very important because it allows the kids to hear from people that are older, so that's great. Going to the mental health, I think that it allows us to have a check-in with the kids, see how they're doing, that week, that type thing. And we've had a tremendous ability to partner with other folks in the community in those mentorship possibilities. One thing that's exciting is students from Winston-Salem State University come over. We've had students from Wake Forest Medical School come over.
Yeah, good
all
role
part of
model.
that mentorship.
David, I'll ask this to both of you. What kind of changes have you seen in the kids once they go through the system?
So I get to see the kids in segments, and over time, I can see changes from when they walk in that day until they walk out that day in their social skills, their comfort with adult, and those sort of things. Then you go in 6 months later and you don't even recognize them. Right. They're new kids. But Alexia is the expert.
Same thing, Alexia.
Yeah,
right?
so the rapport that I have built with the kids, now they are wondering where I am when I'm not there. And when I am there, they are taking time to actually conversate with me, tell me how their day was and how, any challenges that they've had throughout that day.
That's super. We're almost out of time, but Alexia, let me ask you, how can parents get their children involved, their teens involved in this? Do they have to sign up or what?
Yes, so with the Reaching Our Potential program, which is a free program for teens, middle school and high school, for them to come and sign up for free to attend the YMCA to get the privileges of any other member of the YMCA, but most importantly, they can come to the teen center. Their youth can come, have a safe space, have myself as a clinical therapist just check in with these kids and make sure that they're doing well.
Final thoughts.
Yeah,
David?
reaching our potential is changing young people's lives one at a time, and we all got to keep doing that if we want to have a great community in the future.
Up on screen, ymcanwnc.org is the general website there. Please check that out. Very important to do that. And if you ever need the services of Daggett Schuler, go to daggettschulerlaw.com, or you can call 724-1234. I thank all three of you for what you do behind the scenes to help so many people. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Alexia.
you.
Thanks,
We'll be
Jim.
right back.
I am so
Why can no one help me?
Waiting is the worst. Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all. Starting with you. Yes, you, Daryl. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting your benefits, prescriptions, and details all in one place. Convinced?
No. But it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina. Making healthcare better for all. Starting with you.
Back now on Triad Today. Always glad we can visit with some of the good folks from Novant Health. And a special guest here is first-time visitor, Dr. Mitchell Hargis. He's a neurologist in the Neuro ICU at Novant Health Forsyth Medical Center. And we appreciate your time coming today.
Mr. Longworth, thank you for having me.
This is Stroke Awareness Month. So very quickly, just give us sort of a thumbnail sketch of what a stroke is for people that don't know.
Stroke is damage to the brain from a blocked blood vessel. Damage to the brain is bad.
Okay, and those blocked blood vessels can be just almost anywhere, right?
In our brain, yes.
Yeah.
Or different places in our body too, but especially in our brain.
Does this mainly, I guess because I'm in my 70s, I'm going to ask you sort of an old man question here. Is this something that just the elderly worry about, or stroke can affect anybody?
I've seen people from age 2 to 100 have a stroke.
Really?
It is more common in older people. But when the outliers, when the 30-year-olds come in, everybody questions what's going on because they're just not used to it. I see it more in older populations, but it can happen to anybody.
What are the most common warning signs of a stroke?
The most common warning signs that I've seen are weakness or difficulty feeling one side of the body, a sudden change in vision, inability to speak, someone's voice completely changes, or maybe they can't talk at all.
Right.
But in general, from what I've learned seeing patients, is people know something's wrong. They don't hurt. Pain, chest pain, broken bone brings someone to the hospital very quickly. Strokes don't hurt.
And of course, sometimes it can be just one particular symptom, which brings me to another question, which is, how could I, let's say a loved one of mine I'm in the house with, how could I recognize quickly that that person needs emergency care if maybe they just have one symptom?
Don't be afraid to assess the situation. If your loved one's something's just not right, don't say maybe they're just tired. Go ask them to hold their arms up, ask them to talk to you. Find out very quickly. If you find something is wrong, don't try and diagnose a stroke or this or that. If you know something is wrong, seek help.
When somebody is having a stroke, why is it so important for me to get on the horn right away to 911? Why is that so important to the patient, to the stroke itself, to recovery? Why is it so critical?
Because every minute you wait, 5 million brain cells die, and we really want to blast that clot. And there's a time limit that you can do that in. The faster you get to us, the more brain we can save.
Wow. And you go to an emergency room that's equipped to do that and get in there, but you've got that time factor to worry about. Now, let's double back a second. What are some of the major risk factors of getting a stroke?
High blood pressure, diabetes, things that come along with being overweight. But sometimes there are genetic factors that we have no control over, and these are rare, but high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol too.
What can I do? Of course, again, I'm in my 70s, but I mean, what can anybody do to avoid these kind of things or to prevent them? Any kind of lifestyle changes or what?
Get outside. Don't be afraid to go and explore the world. Get some exercise. I don't like throwing medications at people. Sometimes we have to, but it is good to exercise and get outside. And I see people at the YMCA locally every day. First, do what you can for yourself. Live a great life.
Right. And sometimes people think, well, gosh, I'm going to have to exercise hard every single day. That's not necessarily true.
Not necessarily true at all. Getting outside and exercising good for your brain, good for your heart. It's better. Health in the first place is better than any pill that we can give you. Sometimes we need them, but you only get one body. Please make it the best body you can.
Absolutely. Doc, before we lose time and get away from here, personal question. Who or what led you to a career in healthcare?
I tried to think of a logical reason. I tried to think of one for a long time. And
doctors in the family?
No doctors in the family, no. It was more of a question of like, why is Beethoven good? It was a gut feeling. There's no logical reason why Beethoven's good. It was where I fit. And that was the question I actually gave at the answer I gave at my medical school interview.
So you just sensed it?
I wanted to be there. And I didn't want to be anywhere else.
Well, bless your heart. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. Up on screen, novonthealth.org/services/stroke-care. It's a long website thing, but please pay attention to that and pay attention to symptoms and to your loved ones and people in the house, and be vigilant on that. Call 911 if you have any questions about that. Doc, thanks for coming.
Sir, thank you so much.
Come back sometime, will you?
Absolutely.
Be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire. Back now on Triad Today. I'm excited about meeting this gentleman next to me. Not that I'm not excited about seeing the one way down the road, because, Kevin Baker, Executive Director of Piedmont Triad International Airport, been on here a lot of times, and we're good buddies. So good to see him. But Kevin brought a special guest, Amod Kilkar, Senior Vice President, Chief Commercial Officer at Honda Aircraft Company. Good to see both of you.
Thank you so much.
Kevin, let me start with you. We've talked about this before. You've been involved in helping to bring thousands of jobs to the area. How important is Honda to the whole aerospace campus landscape?
Well, Honda was the first of the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers that located here. And you're talking about a world-known brand. And when you have a global brand like Honda choosing to locate here, that makes everybody else take a look as well.
Yeah.
So they're hugely important. It was really the beginning of a lot of what we're.
A lot of people. Well, you don't have to answer it, but it seems to me like a lot of people came because of them, right?
I think that's right.
All right, Amod, why was PTI the right place for Honda?
So when our founder, Mr. Fujino, was looking for the right place to start the business and the dream of Honda in terms of airplane manufacturing, North Carolina, first of all, was an amazing place to do business. And then PTI turned out to be probably the best partner from business perspective, not to forget about the amazing educational ecosystem that's within 2-hour radius of this place.
Right.
So I think there was a lot of good research put in, and PTI came out as a winner.
Good labor pool for you to draw from.
Absolutely.
Too.
Yes.
Talk about the Honda Jet Echelon. Why is that? What does that look like? What does it do?
Perfect. So Honda Jet Echelon is our next aircraft. It's under light jet category. It'll sit up to 11 people. And the coolest part of it is not only it will be the most fuel efficient aircraft in its category, but it'll also fly the farthest in the world.
Wow.
So it is the farthest flying light jet in the world. Which
was a drawback for some people and corporations that wanted to have a jet. Sometimes they have to refuel, but this...
That's true. This will go East Coast to West Coast non-stop with 5 passengers.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Now, very quickly, the philosophy. Just take a few seconds. The philosophy of Honda Jet, how does it give advantages to the operation?
Perfect. So philosophy of Honda Jet is closely aligned with philosophy of Honda Motors Company.
Okay.
And it is about the 3 joys that we call joy of making, joy of buying, and obviously the joy of selling.
Right.
And then we focus on that joy of buying for our customers and joy of making for our employees. And the whole system is based on mutual trust and respect for others. And so it's almost like the island of Japanese culture here in Greensboro.
Okay. Now, we didn't rehearse this or anything, but Amod, you were born in India, you told me.
Yes.
As a little boy, when did you first develop an interest in airplanes?
Cool. So, to be honest, I was interested in airplanes all my life. My city had an airport, which was at the time really small. but I would still take time to go and see something that takes off and lands safely.
Right.
So very excited. And then just as the luck may have it, when I finished my graduate studies in Canada, Bombardier was the job that I got.
Yeah.
I had actually an option of automobile and aerospace. And just so that I could brag about it, I went for aerospace.
Well, I brag about Kevin all the time. He does it.
So do I.
Yeah. We could just do testimonials about Kevin while we're in here.
Please.
Before I put something up on screen here, very quickly, expansion going on, or what do you see going on in 3 to 5 years?
Absolutely. So we are just about starting industrialization of Honda Jet Echelon, which means the wings are already getting made. Fuselage is arriving in few months. Engines are ready. Landing gears are ready. So as you can see, the recipe is there.
All right.
So we are going to ramp up our production by at least 30 to 40% more workforce in coming year.
That's good news for everybody. And so everybody keep abreast of what's going on. There's job opportunities out there up on screen. Fly from PTI.com. Please see that. And you can visit HondaJet.com as well. Amod and Kevin, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this.
I got free meals. What do you mean? No, seriously, how much did you pay us? I didn't pay anything. I learned how to cook all of these fresh foods that were delivered to my house. Everything in that grocery bag that's fresh, I had a recipe for it, and I know how to cook. It encouraged us to eat better, to shop better, make better decisions.
Back now on Triad Today, and it's always a pleasure for me as someone who went to UNCG, and I actually graduated. I know that's probably surprising to Tiffany, but always glad we have somebody from UNCG, and this is a real somebody. Tiffany Gibson's Director of Experiential Practice, UNCG School of Nursing, and I'm just so glad you're here.
Thank you.
I know you're doing a lot behind the scenes to help folks. You guys have a new vehicle. What is that?
Yes, it is the UNCG School of Nursing Minerva's Health Chariot. It is the second in our fleet, and it was fortunate to be a gift from the United Healthcare Community Grant, and we're so excited to have that.
What is it actually, who actually is served by this unit?
Who's served by the unit is we serve everyone, Guilford County, Rockingham, Randolph County, Davidson, Davie, Forsyth, and Alamance County, and Caswell County. But with this unit, we're able to serve more underinsured, uninsured, people that have difficulty with access to care.
What kind of services would be offered by this unit?
The service we brought primary care, nursing screenings, chronic care management. We're able to do telehealth uniquely on this unit. We're able to do school physicals, sports physicals, just be the bridge of care for people. And it's free.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, and it is free. What kind of gaps are you filling in with this kind of a unit? Why is it so important?
It's important because in North Carolina, we have a lot of rural health deserts or health deserts. You would think with a state that has so many healthcare systems, but the problem is everyone can't get there.
Absolutely.
Or there's a bottleneck of services. So what we do is we're the bridge. We go to people where they are, where it's needed. We see them. We do a warm handoff to their providers, or we fill in that gap and just hold them until they can get where they need to go.
Tiffany, let me circle back to something you mentioned, and I should have asked you then, but you were talking about it's another in your fleet.
Yes.
You said in the fleet. All right. Now, how is this unit different from the first unit?
The first unit is a upfitted RV. So it's bigger. It takes up more space. The Chariot is a bigger van, like a passenger van, 15 passenger that we've redone, that we can carry students on, and it has a space to take care of patients.
Let me put you on the spot. I mean, do you have any numbers in mind of how many folks you've been able to serve so far, or on average?
Yes.
Or give me some idea.
Yes, with Minerva's Mobile Health in general, we've up since 2023 over 3,000 patients. Since we've had the unit itself, we're expanding by 100 patients per week.
I saw an email from Brian Clary, and I guess he had spoken with you about it because there was a phrase you guys used, and you described the mobile units as, quote, rolling classrooms,
Rolling
unquote.
classroom.
What do you mean?
So with our fleets, we're able to do traineeship. We take our nurses and nurse practitioner students, and they're allowed to practice in the communities in which we serve and use real life experience where people heal, not at the bedside, but in their communities. And so we're training people 100% of the time. So our mobile health scholars or our traineeships, they're actually getting money for scholarships and tuition to be able to do 80 hours beyond their regular clinical experience in the community.
And they're
area.
ready to hit the ground running when they come out of UNCG and the School of Nursing.
Yes.
Before we run out of time, I'm just curious, since you and I sort of meeting here for the first time personally, who or what led you to this field of healthcare and education together?
Yes, well, I am from Eastern North Carolina, rural town, Roanoke Rapids, Lake Gaston.
I know where it is.
Yes, and it is a beautiful area, but it is a healthcare desert. And coming from Richmond, Virginia when I was younger, and then coming to this area, I realized how different the landscape is. So what I wanted to do is to be able to provide access to people beyond the wheels. And so, but using mobile services. In a lot of healthcare deserts, they don't have the infrastructure for internet. They don't have that type of infrastructure. So we can bring all of that to them to provide excellent care. And I don't think rural areas should be considered the rough area or the underserved area.
Absolutely.
We're serving them and we're doing it well.
Absolutely. Up on screen, uncg.edu. Please check that out. Lots of portals to go through on the website, including learning about what's going on in the School of Nursing. To Tiffany Gibson, thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back after this.
At Sutton Brothers, we're confident we can help you solve your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs.
So confident that we'll fix it or it's free. Our highly trained technicians will diagnose your problem and fix it with either a repair or replacement.
And if we can't fix it, you won't pay the trip fee.
So the next time you have a problem, call us.
We'll make sure you're completely satisfied.
Guaranteed.
Call Sutton Brothers today and be confident things will be done right. Schedule online at suttonbros.com.
Major funding for Triad Today comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, making healthcare better for all. The Roundtable is brought to you by Sutton Brothers, locally owned and operated and serving all of your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the Roundtable with a quick shout out to the good folks here at the Kernersville Auto Museum. You can come out here and see things for free on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They have lots of great things, including some relics, just like the four of us. One relic, Ogie Overman, of course, the great columnist.
Hey.
And we're all relics. All right. And Don Martin, Dr. Don Martin, Chairman of County Commissioners in Forsyth County, David Daggett, who you saw earlier in the program. Guys, let's get to it. Under current North Carolina law, if an accidental workplace death occurs, the maximum fine for that company is $16,500. However, 40% of the time, those fines are arbitrarily reduced. Last week, the State Labor Commissioner said no to any more reduced fines. Kind of a double question here, guys. You okay with eliminating discounted fines? And would you like to see a higher fine levied even for a first-time violation?
I really would, Jim. I think that ought to be the minimum instead of the maximum, and you ought to start the negotiation from that point and go up.
And not reduce them from
Absolutely.
there. Because
for death, I mean, that could be the breadwinner for the rest of your life.
Right. And Don?
Yeah, I think some kind of graduated, let that be the threshold, 16.5, have a graduated amount based on sort of the severity of repeating safety violations, et cetera, and have a range after that.
David, we're all kind of interested in your response because you're an expert in this field. What do you think?
First, I don't think it should be arbitrary. Arbitrary becomes unfair, and there's privilege in personal relationships, all that sort of thing. So get rid of arbitrary. Second is there are other remedies available in those situations. So I think what you do is you set a fine, you stick to the fine, and then let the private legal system or other avenues take care of holding folks responsible and accountable for their actions.
Because companies aren't always responsible. Say if a guy just trips on his own accord, but if there's something they didn't do, they should have, then
Well, there's workers' compensation remedies.
Right.
There's other legal remedies that are potentially available. Once you start mixing those too much, the system becomes a mess.
All right. Meanwhile, the State General Assembly just allocated $3 million per year to UNC Chapel Hill's business school so they can, quote, collect economic data, unquote, which will help counties better forecast economic opportunity. This is in Don's wheelhouse. Are you guys okay with that, or should taxpayers have to spend additional money on something that maybe the Commerce Department should be able to do on their own? Ogie?
Honestly, I don't know who's better positioned to have the data and the resources to do that, the school or the Commerce Department. I would think it was probably okay. $3 million is not a whole lot, really.
Yeah, that's per year. Don?
Well, I would think if the Department of Commerce needs additional help, then they ought to have a request for proposals and let anybody in this state or the country bid on providing
instead of just
service.
giving the money to Chapel Hill.
Yeah, it should be competitive.
I have no problem with it being a student research project, but that student research project should not be a unilateral decision. It should be put out for bid just like any other contract. But then I think there's a double win. There's a learning opportunity and the state gets better information. So it's a win-win.
Speaking of the General Assembly, a state senator from Harnett County has introduced a bill that would restrict healthcare systems' annual compensation for their CEOs if those hospitals receive taxpayer funds. There's been a lot of controversy about the Atrium Wake Forest CEO making huge amounts of money, and I think they were aiming this a lot at him. But anyway, not to get on that too much. But are you okay with this about restricting, if it's taxpayer funds, restricting CEO salaries?
I really am. I think they make a lot of money. Let's cap it somewhere.
What do you think, Don?
Well, I probably am not as concerned about the CEO salary per se, but I am concerned about their tax exemption issues. I mean, I think we're kind of beyond the definition of nonprofit for an entity that's going to pay their CEO in double-digit millions.
All right, David.
Yeah. My basic beliefs are you do not regulate salaries with organizations. However, I think we have blurred what's public, what's private with the non-taxable status, and there needs to be some clarity there, because if it ends up being public money that's going to pay that salary, we need to look at it. If we can separate it, then it's not our business.
Okay. And finally, guys, a first ever, how much time we have? A minute 30? Okay, let's see if we can do this. A first ever bookless bookstore opened last week in New York City, where people can come in and browse audio titles. They have little listening booths and things like that, but there's no books in there, all right? First in the nation. Guys, do you think this trend will catch on? And would you shop at a bookstore with no books? Ogie?
I fear that it probably will. They won't get my business. I'm still a reader and a page turner.
You're a book guy.
I'm a book guy.
Don Martin.
Well, you can get audiobooks in a bookstore today.
Right.
And I guess if the move is we're not going to have any print books, then I do have a big problem with that, because I think there's still a lot of us like to hold books and read them.
Yeah, David.
I thought that was called a coffee shop.
That's right. Well, that's all the time. Oh, except for this. Let me just mention this. Archaeologists in Colorado have now discovered that dice, that you gamble with, dice have been around since the beginning of time, which may explain why Adam and Eve had such bad luck with snake eyes. See, there was a serpent in the gambling thing. Melissa's shaking her head. I don't know what the editorial thing is. All right, for all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.